What's up, guys? Welcome to another exciting edition of Real Estate Podcast, episode 326. I'm here with Griffin.
I'm here with Trav.
And I'm here with Adam.
This week we watched Asteroid City.
Asteroid City, baby.
What's up with everybody's blue eyes? They were fake. They were fake, right?
Yeah.
They look real.
But, I mean, it has to do with the whole painting aspect of it, right? Like, everything looked like Campbell's,
Yeah,
the hand-drawn. You know what I'm saying?
The
and
picture you see in the doctor's office or
yeah.
in the office at school. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about? Where the kids in the doctor's office?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, exactly. Oh, dude. Beautiful. Like, I mean, I've seen people, because whenever I was looking for the poster for it, people are taking still images from it and framing them.
Everything's a poster.
Yes, everything. That shot where Steve Carell is like him and it's the other guy and the kids looking at the land.
Yeah.
I saw somebody printed that off, like had it professionally printed off and framed it. And it looks just like a fucking painting. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, it's crazy. It's how he was able to capture that to a T is kind of fascinating. But I will admit, though, I feel like I need to watch this movie again. Because there's a lot of like subtext. You know what I mean? There's a lot going on here. You've got the playwright and all that kind of stuff, and then you've got the story itself, and then like the whole idea of like the dream sequence. Like, there's a lot to unpack here in the last act of this movie.
Dude, the alien? Was that when they first go through there, it wasn't him, but when they go through the second time, I was like, that's a fucking Mother Nature always finds a way. I can't think of his name.
Yeah.
But when that alien came down, dude, the way that it was looking, with its little beady eyes, I was like, what the fuck?
Oh, when he poses for the photo?
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck?
I thought it was great when they did that little, it's almost like it broke the fourth wall without breaking the fourth wall. Because like it would have those moments where
it would cut to the play.
Yeah. And it was that moment where, dude's leaving. He's going to like the guy that lives on set that like, he's the problem solver. And he goes to him. And as he's making his way to him, they pass the alien and it's Jeff Goldblum being like, I don't know if I'm getting the character right. I just don't know.
Yeah. Ray Donovan was there.
Dude, that shit was fucking great whenever she, like, it shows them outside the showers and chick walks up and then they're talking and they look over and fucking Walter's standing there and he goes, oh, I'm not, this is, and he just fucks off.
I don't think I've been there shot.
Well, it's like the play itself's being poorly performed.
Yeah. But,
that speech that Jeffrey Wright gives. So we want to thank all the armed services for being here. We salute you. And he salutes like three groups of people. He's like, first, I'm gonna give him a speech.
Whenever they bring out the protocol thing.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was, but like it was just the way he did the line delivery where he would be like, men danced under the palm fronts and blah 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 blah. That was life. In chapter 2.
The delivery, the way the dialogue was, it's very clever how he wrote it, because like you figure out, like, going through everything, that it's a play and they're doing the play and stuff, but like, we've watched movies, it's like, oh, this feels like we're watching a play out, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, there's so many layers.
And all the awkwardness that comes with watching a play.
Oh yeah.
Those little brief, like, transitional moments where it's like, all right, we're going to another set. You bear with us for a second.
Well, dude, the way that it opens when that train gets there, the thing with the car, with the old house that Jack built. He's like, I don't know. We've never seen this problem before. Yeah. But when he calls his dad, and they're like the shots are facing each other.
Oh yeah,
and it's just
yeah,
an awkward conversation. Well, I don't think it's his
yeah,
dad; it's his wife's dad, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
His
Yeah,
father-in-law. Yeah,
just walking around with a gun in his pocket, or
He's
just
like, you
right in
never
his
liked me.
pocket.
He's like, let's face it, you never liked me. And he goes, I didn't love you. Like, no, but I think the hero of the film though has got to be the cameraman, and like rest in peace all the little pods that camera was sitting on, because I felt like at one point they did a swivel and that thing took off like a helicopter, because this movie was just panning all over the damn place. Like I want to say like 70 to 80% of the shots at
Oh
some
yeah,
point that fast swivel would
especially when
kick
they
in.
first got there.
And
yeah,
I know it's a signature in a lot of Wes Anderson movies, but I mean it was in full force for this one.
yeah. Well, and the way that it lets you know whenever they arrive where the road is at, and most of the times when it's panning around, it's like it's from the perspective of a car going by. And to me, that was another layer. That was another, because there was that one shot where everybody shows up to the town and they've got like doom days and all that. They've got the
Hmm.
Ferris wheel and all that
Yeah.
stuff. And it starts on one side, where everything starts at, and it just pans all the way across. But it's like sitting in the middle of the road, panning all the way across. They're pulling it along down through there, and it's just, I don't know. It felt like you were a bystander.
Well,
Like,
you know how like the play subtext of the film. It's almost like when you go watch those, the more like I would say from early college level on to like Broadway or something. A play that'll happen, especially it's a large production.
yeah,
You the audience member, you're static, but like the stage is moving. Like,
yes,
okay, we're gonna go from an indoor setting to an outdoor setting. Camera closes or they spin it around or whatever. Well, instead of the play doing that, the viewer does it,
yeah.
which I'm sure there's some sort of like, should have had a V8 Dub McFly, I think, moment. But I mean, that's the best way I could put it together.
Right. Yeah, that's why I feel like I need to watch this at least once, maybe twice, because I mean the whole time you're like they pull you in with the whole alien thing,
Yeah.
and the whole time you're trying to figure out like what the fuck is with the, and then they pull in Ed Norton being all Ed
Yeah.
Norton,
No,
like
no, I've seen the movie twice, and I'll tell you, Griffin, it's going to probably take a third time, because even with the second time, I'm still kind of scratching my head at some things.
right,
But the one thing that stuck out, and I was like, it's not because of the act itself, but it's because I don't see where that piece fits in the puzzle. That whole and it could be something very obvious that I'm overlooking, because I even tried to pay attention to the dialogue. But when the main character, when it does that time like lapse or attempt where he's stuffing the paper in his shirt and he's talking to Ed Norton, he brings
yeah,
him the ice cream, all that stuff. That shot ends with what seems like them, like they like kissing or together or something like that.
yeah.
Really weird. Don't know what that signified or what that meant.
Well, and also it felt like that there was some weird like drama slash tension between Ed Norton's character and Scarlett Johansson's character because of the notes and all that kind of stuff that was going on there.
Now, could it like the most I was able to pull out of my ass to be like, okay, maybe this is what this meant. Like, was Ed Norton, and because that there was a moment where Cranston, I think, is the one that explains it, but the main character of the play was supposed to be almost like a autobiographical take on the writer,
Yeah,
whom is Ed Norton.
yeah.
So I'm wondering if that was like a display of narcissism, like Like,
Yeah.
because he was essentially talking to himself, if that's the case, right?
Right. Pretty yeah. Because he
So,
even comes in and he's like, "You're perfect," like
mm-hmm.
yeah,
You're
yeah.
perfect. You're me.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, that whole exchange, yeah. So, and that's kind of, because the character kind of had that very much narcissistic quality about him where he's like, I always get my picture, it always comes out, you all that kind of stuff, and it's like, yeah, I can see where you're coming from with that.
and yeah, because it's because because at first what I thought that implied was it was like, okay, that's why you don't have a wife, because she caught him. Maybe it was a situation where she caught the husband but being homosexual. Who knows? Like some sort of weird like little sub drama going on.
Right.
But yeah, second time around, I was like, he's because the second time around was when I was like, man, is that him like kind of talking to himself in a way? Like,
Right. Well, in the way that's one of the only scenes of like the black and white section that ends with a fade, right?
mhm.
So it's almost a situation because the whole dream thing and
Yeah,
them
well,
everybody chanting and all that kind of stuff, and it's like,
that was crazy. You
yeah,
That
can't
was
wake
weird.
up if you don't go to sleep. You can't wake up if you go like, and I wonder if that's yeah, like like you said, there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on in this movie other than just the camera and frames. Like this film was polished to a level of like serial killer level OCD where
yeah,
like you've got your like a perfect plate in front of you, the cutlery is exactly where it's at,
yeah,
like everything is exactly like like everything's proportional to one another, like it's very Anderson is a psychopath. I'm 100%
Yeah, it was
convinced.
very even.
yeah.
Nice to
Like
look
I'm
at.
yeah,
He's
like
got some
I know symmetry's always been a staple for him, but
right.
like this one is just like he just opened the top of his head and just smeared the paper with his brain and was like, that's movie.
The way that I the way that I kind of felt about the movie going into it from I feel like the idea of the movie is it's him it's an inception thing where it's like him within himself. So like this is kind of how I took it. And this is why I want to rewatch it. It's like he is the writer of the play, right? Wes Anderson projected himself or wrote himself as the writer to the play that wrote himself as as the character in the story.
Yeah.
And the Asteroid City play parts of it is very like you said it's perfect, right? Like it's everything looks perfect. Everything's perfect. I was even the way that the signs were painted and everything is perfect. And it's almost like he has become known as this director that has this very distinct style. And it's almost him like kind of putting his own views about himself out in a way to where it's like this is the most perfect Wes Anderson that you'll ever get. And the most perfect Wes Anderson thing that you're going to get is this play. And it's like that's kind of how it felt to me was like he's the writer. He's trying to like bring these stories out with these characters and convey these messages and stuff like that. And there's all this other stuff going on around that influences that in one way or another. And that like it
Or
morphed.
well to add well yeah, and to add to what you're saying, like it's almost like the play aspect is perfect.
Yes, yeah,
Everything around the play, despite his signature style and tentativeness to and his attention to detail, it showed you that like it's almost like some of the most perfect pieces of art are created by the most chaotic people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's like two different worlds of him. The play is like what we get and it's what we see. It's what we consume. It's what we watch and
Mm-hmm.
enjoy. And then you have the other side of it where it's like all this shit's going on, all this crazy shit. He's trying to find himself, And I think that that whole dream sequence that got cut out is a big thing because they kept referring to that, but that he cut it out of the play completely. And I felt like that was almost like a commentary part where it's like either he has this idea, he doesn't know how to formulate it and put it on paper, or is it deeper where it's like he has this idea, he's put it on the paper, but it's so out there and it's so weird that people won't finance it. You know what I mean?
Well, or even more leaning into like you can't really call it a parody or satire or whatever, but almost like the whole idea of the dream sequence being left out is kind of like, all right, it's if it's so perfect, then why does the audience still want more?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, why
Right.
can't the audience be satisfied with what's on screen instead of, oh man, uh, there's a 15-minute sequence that we didn't get to see, like
Yeah.
the things that have to be left up to like you don't get everything
Yeah.
with the experience of a film.
Yeah.
And sometimes I I mean who knows, man, we could be driving this whole theory cart right off a cliff, but I feel like that what we've been discussing is very much what's going on.
Right. So like I said, that's why I want to consume it a couple more times because there was like a lot of these weird, like almost felt like pop shots at not only the industry itself and filmmaking as a whole or being creative as a whole, but also kind of a pop shot to the audience as well. But in a good, tasteful, you know what I mean? Like it's just, it
Well,
feels
yeah,
like
like it steps back and it takes the audience, the product, and the person behind the creation of the product and goes, you guys get excited over this.
yeah,
Look at this. Like
yeah,
this like oh you love this spectacle of what's going on, but like in the background, it's like, yeah, it's fucking Jeff Goldblum
yeah,
debating the
as an alien.
nuances of a
Yeah,
silent role.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Like
As a
it's
fully masked, character. Like what?
and at the end of the day, the writer was trying to express his feeling for how, like the first time he ever met his wife, but you get to someone like Jeffrey Wright's character and you're just like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah,
Like, like when it's doing that weird like cut to all these different people all reacting to different things, and it just cuts to him under the tent getting the thing, goes blah 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 blah. That's this that and the other. He goes, that belongs to Uncle Sam.
yeah.
Keeps panning around. Like he was probably my favorite character.
Oh yeah, right. It was it was very interesting. I really did enjoy it a ton. I mean, it was a beautiful movie. I mean, we all like whenever you think of Wes Anderson, even though I've never seen an interview with the guy, or I don't think I have. I've never heard a podcast with the guy that I'm aware of. You think pretentious, right?
Very. I watched a video with him, and this was a long time ago, but him and Jason went into like a record store to buy records.
Yeah,
This had to be like 99,
right.
98.
So
He's in there like
Royal
fucking just,
Tenenbaums
yeah.
time. Yeah.
And he was straight Charlesing it up, dude, for
Yeah.
sure.
So I mean, and I think that that's kind of, because I think that people go through these stages. Well, okay. Most people go through these stages of their life in some way, shape, or form. You know what I mean? Like, you want to be an artiste, you want to be, and then at the end of the day, you're making these little funny pictures. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I, I think most people, regardless of what their art is, at some point in their life, they take a step back and they realize that, like, this is kind of goofy. You know what I mean? Like, I'm
Yeah, well, almost like the outer edges of or early symptoms of what could be imposter syndrome. Like what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah, yeah. It's like I'm making these goofy movies, that people like associate these really interesting things to me that like I'm not the first person that's done this stuff before. You know what I mean? Like
Mm,
so it's a very interesting like it feels to me like this movie was a very introspective or whatever the word is, like look at himself as an artist and himself as a writer and a director, and like showing the two extremes of how his brain works, and like here's the beautiful, this is what you pay for Wes Anderson. Here's the gritty, dirty, behind the scenes stuff that you may or may not hear about. And he's been making movies since, when did Bottle Rocket come out? 95, 94, 95. So he's been making movies for like 30 years at this point. So
yeah.
I'm sure as a person he's grown, and he's like, why did I act like I was a fucking dick that knew everything? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I
Well,
could be
yeah.
completely wrong, but it kind of felt that way?
Well, I also, and yeah, I'm not trying to shift gears in it because I agree with what you're saying. I think that there's definitely, I mean, you don't stay in this type of, you know, industry with films and stuff without innovating a little bit, or
Yeah,
at least knowing what you can do and excel in, and just pulling the trigger on that as hard as you can.
yeah,
But one of the things that also stood out, and I felt like it was a pretty crazy mirror, mirror to the face of the world moment, and it only happens like I think maybe two or three times, and it's where they're sitting there and like the story is going on, and we're all, you're engrossed in the whole idea of like, okay, lost the wife, all right, she's got ashes, okay, fair enough. Like this whole thing's playing out. Dude's kind of getting a second win with love through Scarlett Johansson. All right, moving on, cool. But then all of a sudden you'll hear like an explosion. You're like, what was that? And they're like, oh, it's probably the bomb test. Don't worry about it.
yeah,
Well, like, it's reflective of like now.
yeah,
Like, when you think about the way the state of the world is now, everybody's just going right along, just to
yeah,
the beat of their own drum, but like out on like off in the horizon,
That bomb was riding
some
on a train. It was like, do not detonate. It's
like
like, yeah.
like some really
Uh,
serious, yeah, some super serious shit's going on, but nobody's really paying it as much mind. They know it's there, but instead of like, hey, why does that shit keep like? Don't we need to go see what the fuck's going on, or don't we need to get the fuck out of here? Now, let me ask you guys something, because out of two watchings, I wasn't able to find something that made me go, okay, that dispelled it. So we see how everything is presented in the movie, where it's all perfect, everything looks 1950s. The asteroid city looks like a recreation of a test town that people just somehow inhabit. When they're giving the speech in the crater, you see on the poster above Jeffrey Wright, you see 1955.
hmm
Okay. When he's talking about the meteorite hitting and crashing, he says in the year 3007. So that made me wonder, from the very first watch to now, when is this taking place? And maybe it's purposely like times like supposed to be irrelevant, but I was trying to get a grip on what the setting was for the movie, but that always threw me for a loop, because it always made me guess, like, all right, is it like, are they occupying Asteroid City because it's the only town left? Like for real, I guess,
that was BC. That's what the sign said.
It's just so, but yeah, even with that,
It
and
was
I took
3000
that,
BC.
I did take that into account, but like that's just such a random thing to throw out there,
Well, if
like
it falls into that whole pretentious nature, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, of course, gonna put something like that in there. Why wouldn't I? Yeah, I didn't really notice that or pay much attention to that. I was too like, what the fuck is happening? Like mouth breathing, because everything moves. Like the shots linger, but when everybody's talking and doing shit, it's moving at breakneck speed. And it's just like, what the fuck are we doing right now? Like, you have these people having a conversation over the course of like 45 seconds,
Yeah.
something that would normally take like 2 minutes in a non Wes Anderson movie. They're having this conversation in 45 seconds. They're just hammering it out, hammering it out, hammering it out, and then cut to a shot where the camera's going to pan around and show some beautiful stuff while you're processing what the fuck this conversation was.
It's
Like
like being on an
it's
edible.
yeah,
That's what real
exactly.
life is
Right?
like on an
Yeah,
edible, dude. It's like a Wes Anderson movie.
yeah,
Well,
Just the way
yeah.
everyone's
exactly.
talking to each other,
Well,
like looking straight at you, talking to you, you know.
Yeah,
It's
to
like,
add to
what? What's he
the
saying?
edible bit, uh, that photo of Wes Anderson you dropped at him, I feel like if I was to go and just like trip my balls off
Mm-hmm.
on some like hardcore psychedelic, like when you peak, everything would go
Oh,
white, and then Wes Anderson would just step into
that's what
frame like
happens when
that
you
and
do
be like,
DMT.
yeah, he'd be like,
Wes
oh,
Anderson shows up.
he'd be like, oh, you picked the hardcore variety,
Yeah. Motherfucker looks like Willy Wonka.
yeah, Donnie
or like
though.
or like Tilda Swinton with a lot of testosterone,
Yeah.
or maybe just a little.
Bill Murray was not going to be outdone, though, on that day.
Yeah, right.
He's like, Wes is going to be there. I got to fucking.
I need all plaid
Yeah.
everything.
Dude, that's the look of a face of a man that could only say, I'm the only one that can lock Bill Murray in every time.
Yeah. I'm surprised he wasn't in
And
this.
that's why I'm going to have to give it a half star, dude. Hey, he was supposed to be in it.
Was he?
Oh,
Oh,
was
let
he?
me show you.
Oh
Oh,
man, this
you
is
don't
this.
know?
No,
Oh,
dude.
good game
What's that?
changer. What?
So Bill
So
Murray was going to play the Steve Carell part. But this is
wow.
what they claimed. 3
Oh
days
wait,
before they started filming, he
is this
got
when that?
COVID. Oh, that's when it was. It
Oh,
wasn't
was
the
the
COVID, man.
allegations?
It wasn't the COVID. Dude, if Bill Murray gets COVID, you wait a week. I mean, dude, they could have shot all that
Yeah.
other shit. It
Yeah.
ain't like Steve Carell was in the entire movie. You know what it's
So
about. Same
so
reason he got cut out of that other movie.
man,
Yeah, that's. And I kept waiting for him because I saw this image.
Yeah.
I knew Bill Murray was going to be in this movie. Well, he's in all of them, right?
Yeah. I mean, pretty much.
Half star.
That's fucking wild. He would have. Steve Carell did a great job.
Sure.
Don't get me wrong, but
But he ain't Bill Murray.
it's Bill
apple,
Murray.
orange, or what was that third one he
Tomato.
does?
Yeah. Apple,
Yeah.
orange, or tomato. Yeah. It feels like he completely rewrote the part because the picture of Bill Murray looks like he's the mayor of
Or a
Asteroid City.
sheriff or something, you know? Like,
Yeah, and Steve Carell, which he might have just cut that part completely out of the movie, like
you
because
see, it does look like the mayor. See the pin on his shirt?
yeah,
It's an
yeah,
asteroid falling.
yeah. So
I mean,
I
he was
wonder,
on set.
I wonder if they filmed his parts and then
Well,
cut it out.
the article says that he got COVID 3 days before filming. Well, what the fuck is this?
Yeah,
He's on set.
there's no way they're doing screen tech.
Yeah, nah.
You know what I mean?
Not with
Like
all that shit.
hell no, not in the middle of the
Not
hot
buying
ass
it.
desert. No. Who knows? Maybe in the future we'll get like an extended cut with the Murray parts, or I don't know. But that sucks, man. It would have been great to have him in there. Could you imagine him and Jeffrey Wright? Like if he's the mayor of Asteroid City and Jeffrey Wright is the fucking there. I'm sure there was this whole subplot thing going on where Bill Murray's pissed off because the government's that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that would have been great. Them two going back and forth would have been fucking phenomenal. But whatever. I enjoyed the movie. I feel like I need to watch it more but I don't really feel that way about a lot of the Wes Anderson movies though. I think this is the first one that I've ever watched where I'm like, I need to go back and revisit this.
Well, not necessarily in that style, but this is the first live action, I'll say, Wes Anderson film that I've been like, I'll happily revisit it. Because prior to this, the two movies I liked the most by him, which, I mean, it's not shitting on any of his other films by any means, but I thought Isle of Dogs and Mr. Fantastic Mr. Fox, I thought those movies were great.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the French Dispatch yet. That's the only one.
I haven't
I
seen
can't
that
comment on that one.
or Grand
I've
Budapest.
seen that one. Whoa, it's grand.
Well, the ones that I would always revisit was Life Aquatic and Moonrise Kingdom. I thought Moonrise Kingdom was just so it was so fucking funny. Those kids like fucking like I don't know, it was just funny. Um, those were the two that I would always revisit. And like I watched Bottle Rocket, dude. You remember when Crackle was first a thing?
Mm-hmm.
I saw Bottle Rocket on there, and I saw that it had Luke Wilson, Owen Wilson, and the dude that plays Frank from fucking Donnie Darko that plays the rabbit.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "Oh shit, I'm gonna check this out." Had no idea, and I'd seen the Royal Tenenbaums at this time. I'd seen Life Aquatic. I'd seen maybe even Moonrise. No, not Moonrise Kingdom because there's quite a gap right there. Because I didn't watch Fantastic Mr. Fox until we did it on the pod. But I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna check this out." And of course, Rushmore had seen that, and I watched it, and I was like, "This is a fucking Wes Anderson. What the fuck? Like, this is his first movie." And it was interesting watching, his first, his Kevin Smith moment. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I enjoyed it. I'm gonna give it a star. I feel like there's
Yeah.
more going on.
Um. Yeah. So the news of the absence of Bill Murray, that was a shock to me because that's the thing. I didn't do any post or I didn't do any pre research or post research on the film either time. But I'll give it a star though because I do think it is worthy of 2.5 stars.
It got a 2.2 on Google. It might be his lowest. People are pissed about Bill Murray, dude. Nah, I'm just.
No, I mean you're probably right.
Nah, they probably didn't.
No, hey, come on,
Dude,
hey, the way the world is, the way the world is,
right?
man. You think someone didn't look at that and went,
"Where the fuck is Murray?
I'm not touching it. It ain't got Venkman in it."
But yeah, it was. I'm gonna watch it again for sure, and I do want to go back and watch the other two that I haven't seen, just because, So,
Mr. Wes Anderson.
yeah, yeah, that would be a completely
one
different
of you
movie.
has a future, the other does not.
We got a little bit of movie news here. Y'all want to fucking hit it?
Yeah.
All right, Actors Guild to stop approving indie projects amid ongoing Hollywood strikes. So SAG-AFTRA has recently given an update on their rules for the ongoing strikes, revealing that they will no longer grant interim agreements to independent projects that were created under a Writers Guild of America contract, as reported by Variety. Prior to the union's latest announcement, SAG-AFTRA have already given interim agreements to 207 independent projects, allowing them to continue production amid the ongoing strike. The interim agreements have been subject to some serious backlash by members of the union, with some arguing that they cause additional harm to the strike. In their update announcement released on Monday, SAG-AFTRA noted that these agreements were still an important element of our strike strategy, while adding that they were aware that some individuals still had questions and even concerns about its impact. Yesterday's message was SAG-AFTRA's first modification in response to the backlash, with the union stating that would no longer approve WGA created projects that planned to be produced in the U.S. The message reads, We will now exclude from the interim agreements any WGA covered projects to be produced in the USA. We have been advised by the WGA that this modification will assist them in executing their strike strategy, and we believe it does not undermine the utility and effectiveness of ours. It's a win win change.
Well, I mean, didn't we kind of cover a little bit about this last week where we were talking
Week
about,
before,
yeah,
where
we were
they
talking
allowed them to
about
do it.
well, no, we were just discussing the idea that it's like, all right, well, maybe this will be a big open door for indie films to get on the rise and
Yeah.
all of that, and this pretty much kicked that in the dick.
Yeah.
Well, the week
Well, that.
before is when you read the article where they were going to allow it,
Hmm.
and it's like, wait a minute, so you got a
Yeah.
writer's strike, but you're going to allow people to? No,
Yeah.
you don't make nothing.
Yeah.
No movies, no shows, and we mean it.
Well, they went on to say here that this means that going forward for productions taking place in the U.S., SAG-AFTRA will only grant interim agreements for non-WGA covered projects, and our staff will continue to investigate each application for an interim agreement to ensure only true independent productions are included. The union's update shows a further sense of solidarity with the WGA strike, which started on May the 2nd, while the WGA strike's rules prohibits its members from offering writing services. Those guidelines do not stop WGA covered scripts from being produced. The union's message continued. We created the interim agreement for several reasons, all of which are aimed at protecting the interest of our members and members of sister unions, so that journeyman performers and crew may continue to work and pay their bills while demonstrating to the AMPTP that independent producers are eager to work with our members under these terms. They added, the strike action is evolving each day. We are adapting in real time to continue protecting our members while collaborating with our sister unions and fighting for our common cause. SAG AFTRA wrapped things up by saying SAG AFTRA continues to support the Writers Guild of America in its fight to achieve a fair and equitable contract. And we continue to urge independent producers to apply for an interim agreement and encourage SAG AFTRA members to work on projects that obtain approval along with all other permissible work we support. The union's
Oh,
update will not the
I'm sorry,
union's
go ahead.
the union's update will not impact the 207 projects already granted interim agreements. To receive approval from SAG-AFTRA, producers need to show that they aren't receiving compensation from companies within the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers. Those attempting to get approval must also accept the terms stated by SAG-AFTRA prior to the announcement of the strike. So they basically was like, okay, we can greenlight 207 projects, then we can cut it off at the head, and then we can force people into, or attempt to force people into agreeing to these interim agreements in order to keep things moving. That at least that's
Well,
kind of how it seems.
yeah, and it also seems like they're cutting off loopholes so that things, because if you can, it, you know, if you can, if you're trying to stonewall somebody and that person can see a crack in the wall, that's what they're going to work on to fucking break it down.
Yeah,
So yeah, I think that's going to cause, that's what that'll be, is it's like, we're not gonna, and I guess in like a more condensed way, man, like, when we said we weren't gonna work, we meant it.
yeah. Well, my thing is like, what's stopping them from going to Mexico or Canada now?
Oh yeah. I mean, there'll always be some sort of get around, but it's just going to be whether you want to, like, if you have the expenses to do so.
Yeah,
Like, maybe a 5 to 10 person skeleton indie crew, that might be a realistic thing that they could absolutely do. But like, a Wes Anderson picture getting picked up and moved like that on the dime, nah, ain't
yeah,
gonna happen.
yeah,
And plus,
yeah.
SAG after sounds like something you'd see a commercial for like it's like an antidepressant. It's like people who suffer from SAG
Yeah, pull
after
your pants up,
Yeah,
boy. You know.
yeah. My
symptom.
question is, how long do you think the studios are in it for the long haul?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, at a certain point, there's going to have to be, because we talked about this, if they cut off producing anything for the next year, 5 years even, there's enough content to still tide people over until stuff can start being made.
Yeah, until the economy gets better too.
Well,
Yeah,
That could
yeah,
be a thing.
I've seen multiple interviews of different actors, different writers from all the different genres and all that stuff. And they've all kind of had they've all kind of echoed the same thing where they're like, I mean, there's like, we're now at the point now where, people, when you cut on a streaming service, you're like, what the fuck do I watch? Like, there's so much, like, you don't know where
yeah,
to start.
That's always
And,
my problem. I
well, I
don't like to
mean,
pick unless I already know what I'm going there to see.
yeah,
I don't want to pick like other people that are
yeah,
involved because I'm like, well, I know what I like. They're like,
yeah,
put a good
yeah,
movie on. I'm like, well, my definition of a good movie might be a little different than
yeah.
yours. So why
yeah.
don't you pick?
Well,
My
this is gonna force consumers to actually finally sit down and watch a bulk of what's out there.
right, but
Because,
will
sorry, go
studios?
ahead.
No, I was just going to throw this on there. Like, will studios? Do you think they'll start pulling? Because Disney's already started doing that.
Yeah.
And do you think other streaming services and other people will start pulling content just because like they can pull content? Like Netflix could pull everything down except for their own produced stuff and say the
Yeah,
hell with this
but
shit.
yeah, they absolutely could, but they would lose a ton of revenue now, like because of that.
Well, Disney
And
just
that's
lost almost 600 million
oh
Yeah.
yeah,
people that are dropping Disney Plus,
we could do a whole
that's
episode on
like
the
a
dumpster
large amount of
fire
money.
that is Disney.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
that there's like this is a drop in the bucket compared to what Disney's dealing with right now.
Yeah. So we'll see how this continues to morph, but I mean, I don't know. You know, the fat needed to be trimmed a little bit, in my opinion, and they need to. I think the writers, as well as the studios, need to sit down and do a complete reevaluation of what is absolutely necessary, what is good, what is not good, what is just being produced just for the sake of producing content. And I think that something like this is, this is World War III for entertainment. Like especially, for movies and all that kind of stuff, TV shows. So it's like maybe the great cleansing needed to happen. I mean, I don't want movies and TV and all that stuff to stop, and I don't think that it ever will stop. But I do feel like that there is a lot of chuffa out there, and there's also a
Well,
lot of chuffa in the workplace too. So
I mean, there's also a lot of gems that are out there that get overlooked, and a lot of things that deserve a chance that aren't given a chance. And I know that for me, and I feel like maybe you guys have a similar problem, and perhaps a lot of other people do too. And it's the common problem of, oh man, I have such a backlog of things to watch, and people are throwing recommendations at you on top of that. You have your own personal preferences, all of this stuff, and on top of all of that, they're just constantly feeding, well, here's the next big show that comes out. Well, man, I just started this one show that got uploaded like last week, and you know, it's not 2020 where we're all locked in our homes again to just sit and watch TV and pick our noses at it.
yeah,
So, yeah, there's, I mean, it's a odd level of uncertainty when you start to think about it, but at the same time, I think kind of like what we've all kind of talked about before is it's like, there's just so much out there to watch
Well, this time is
yeah,
different.
that
This is the
yeah,
eighth
but
time that it's happened, but if you remember, that last really big time was like when Conan was on late night,
hmm
yeah,
you know,
Well, it was when we
And
got
then
season 3 of Lost.
yeah, this is the first time the actors got in on it this time, and this is the first time they've gone on strike in 43 years.
Which is nuts.
Wow.
Yeah. So we'll see what comes of everything. But yeah, it's very interesting.
And I know we got to move on, but I know with it being significant with the actors, and I wonder even with the writers, I wonder if there's a moment in all of this where maybe there's a handful of them that just wake up and they're just like, God damn it, why'd I join that fucking union? Like,
well, you kind of get forced into doing it,
Yeah.
right?
I mean,
So,
I
You
guess
can't
there's,
get
I
on
mean,
certain projects if you're not.
yeah.
You have to be in the union.
Well, it's like your serve safe certification for acting or writing.
Yeah. Did you pay your
Like,
SAG fees?
yes, like, yes, I can do it. It's a way of looking at it on paper and go, yes, I can do my job.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we'll see how everything shakes out, man. It's very interesting. Very interesting. Next up here, Guy Ritchie releases legal defense in the gentleman plagiarism lawsuit. I didn't even know this was the thing. I don't think we
What?
covered this. Yeah.
No.
So, director Guy Ritchie has recently denied allegations from a recent lawsuit that claims Ritchie broke a contract agreement with the film The Gentleman. Ritchie is best known for his fast paced action films like Snatch, Sherlock Holmes, The Man from Uncle, Wrath of Man, and The Covenant. One of his most acclaimed films, The Gentleman, is currently involved in a plagiarism lawsuit where former friend Mickey DeHara claims Ritchie copied his script for the film. The Gentleman, we already know what that is because we watched it. Mickey DeHara and Ritchie were close friends in the 90s as DeHara was cast in Snatch. The lawsuit was submitted in April this year in London's High Court, and DeHara argues that Ritchie stole plot points and characters from his unmade 2008 gangster sequel film, The Real Rock and Rolla, and used them in The Gentleman. Additionally, DeHara says that The Gentleman was a reproduction of a subtle part of Rock and Rolla. DeHara also claims that the gangster sequel was based on his life. Rock and Rolla was released 11 years before The Gentleman and follows a group of criminals who seek out a fortune created by a Russian mobster through a real estate scam. The film stars Gerard Butler, blah, blah, blah. The 54-year-old director has filed a counterclaim defense that denies using DeHara's rock and roll script and that he hired DeHara to write the Gentleman's script. In addition to their collaboration in Snatch, Ritchie alleges that in 2006, DeHara was paid 25,000 euros to act as a sounding board and provide anecdotes for creative inspiration during Ritchie's screenwriting sessions. Ritchie also says that many of DeHara's anecdotes were heavily influential for the final screenplay of The Gentleman. His defense team alleges that the director made the film because of the lack of modern gangster films in Hollywood, not because of DeHara's script. Ritchie believed that rock and roll type gangster movies were not generally being made at that time, and as far as he was concerned, those who had tried had failed. They also argued that WGA and WGGB guidelines states writers can only be officially credited if they contributed 33 or more percent of the script.
Mm-hmm.
The defense alleges DeHara contributed below 5%. Guy Ritchie's defense was initially delayed in May after a court order due to prospects of the two parties negotiating an out of court settlement. The negotiations have since fallen through, and DeHara wishes for credit on the Gentleman and $250,000 in restitution. The lawsuit will continue until a verdict is negotiated uh, or negotiation is reached. A
I
small screen
mean,
spinoff of The Gentleman is currently in development.
well, I mean, you're looking for $250K in restitution against Guy Ritchie.
Yeah, I don't think
Like,
that's a
didn't
good
you aim a
idea.
little low there?
Yeah.
Well, he was probably hoping he would just get it,
Right.
Yeah.
but it's like,
But it also
he's gonna
makes,
have receipts that he paid this guy for his little taglines.
Yeah.
well, I mean, it also would say, I mean, I guess if you just want what's yours and you aim for a number like that, especially if you figure in what the movie made, who it stars, etc., etc. I mean, dude could be. I mean, it could be a legit lawsuit.
But where's all the other people that he's fucked over? You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, yeah,
if he's that kind of guy, where's everybody else?
But does it really truly warrant having multiple instances to prove his case for this though? I mean, I totally agree with you. I think, yeah, like if he's good at doing this type of like swindling, obviously he's done it before.
Yeah.
So that begs the question. But I mean, maybe this could have just been the one time he did it, and he
played in one. He was in Rock-a-Rolla. He played Turbo, 2008. Yeah. That's it. That's all he's ever done.
Well, right here, there's an article here from DailyMail.com from 2008. Script advisor for Guy Ritchie's new mob movie on €100,000 cocaine and cannabis charge. So Guy Ritchie's script advisor on his new gangster film Rock and Rolla has been charged with possession more than €100,000 worth of cocaine and cannabis with intent to supply. So
holy shit,
Yeah, right. So I mean, he was the script advisor. It was probably a package deal, or he worked something out where it's like, help me with Rock and Rolla.
You have a contract.
And there was there was rumors going around at one time that they were going to do a sequel to Rock and Rolla, and that never happened. And I remember reading like some of the articles about it, and it sounded very much like some of the gentleman type things. So I was like, okay, so he morphed that into the gentleman instead of Gerard Butler, because Gerard Butler blew up as like the heartthrob. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So trying to get him locked into a Guy Ritchie movie, like a gangster Guy Ritchie movie, I'm sure is not the easiest thing in the world to do. But anyway, so I don't know. It's weird. And like, if I'm Guy Ritchie, just fucking settle out of court. You know what I mean? Like,
well, maybe he doesn't want to because he doesn't feel like he has. I mean, if there's a contract,
right,
and it says he paid him, 25,000 euros in 2006, and this guy's coming back now like that's my life.
Guy Ritchie's net worth is $150 million.
I mean, he could afford it, but
well, I mean that you make a good point, Adam.
It's a long time ago, right?
It's a long time to suddenly be like, man, you fucking made a lot of money off my life.
I need 250,000. That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, if that movie made a shit ton of money, wouldn't you want more?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, naturally, the piece of pie should be bigger.
But yeah, we'll see how that goes. But that's crazy though, man. And it's kind of a genius idea, because he, in that one article it said that he met Mikey DeHara 7 years before he started working on Rock and Rolla. So 2008 was whenever around 2001, which would have been around the time of like Snatch, right? Because Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels was like 98, 99, something like that. And then Snatch came out a couple of years after that. So he met him 7 years ago. They probably became friends, and he was telling him all these stories. And he's like, dude, I want to hire you to just like hang out.
I'll give you 25K.
And tell me stories and like give me funny scenarios and stuff. I would fucking do that for 25K.
Well, it's almost like Guy Ritchie got caught up in his own kind of movie.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah.
That could
Where's
be
my fucking money? Yeah. So that's crazy, man.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, it is. I know it's been a hot minute since we've seen The Gentleman, but so even the version of the film that we got and everything. So Gentleman is more or less a spiritual sequel to Rock and Rolla even now.
Yeah, so from what I remember reading, because like they said in this article, it was going to be them going against this person that ran this marijuana business in the UK. And he basically like they were going to be trying to get the money from that dude. He was going to be the quote unquote bad guy, you
Ah,
know. And he reworked it. He's like, well, no, let's
yeah.
focus
So the
on.
stuff the guy put in on Rock and Roll
Okay.
got put in this movie. Fucking, you know,
Okay, I'm
15
starting to
years
remember
later.
now because I was looking at the photo here, the thumbnail, and I'm like, I know we watched, and I was like, oh, this is the one where McConaughey plays the American overseas. It's like I have the largest fucking weed grow
Got my
operation.
pot, man.
I'm the
Yeah.
fucking lion. Yeah,
Yeah, and he's like, I'm dipping out. And I'm looking for a successor.
yeah. So, and from what I remember, and I may be wrong about this, but yeah, the Rock and Roller was supposed to be, Gerard Butler, and then they were going to bring Tom Hardy back and some of those other characters back, and they were going to be going up against this pot farmer that had these underground pot farms, and that's what the gentleman like. He's but he's the good guy if you want, what,
Mm-hmm.
however you want to look at it. So
He kicks a federal agent into a cell and goes, "This is cannabis," and he
Mm.
just
yeah, yeah.
fucking just like chest kicks him, you know.
So I haven't watched the gentleman in a while. I need to go back and watch it. I haven't watched The Man from Uncle either, and I've been wanting to watch that. It's got Henry Cavill in it. So we might have to throw that on the list. So next up here, Glenn Howerton shares Lex Luthor fan art. Fans now want him in Superman Legacy. I thought this was kind of a funny thing. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia star Glenn Howerton has shared fan art of himself as the iconic DC supervillain Lex Luthor, sparking rumors and cries for the actor to star as the character in the upcoming Superman reboot, Superman Legacy. Sharing the art of at Clements.Inc. to his Instagram story, it's impossible to deny that Howerton cuts a threatening figure as Luthor, with the actor's penchant for arrogance and untethered rage could suit the character well. Check out what he shared below. Um,
It's a clip from Blackberry.
yeah, right,
Yeah.
dude. I would be okay with that.
Well,
Oh yeah.
what's funny? What's funny is how every time there's a superhero movie that comes out, somewhere down the production or the speculation trail, there's a Always Sunny in Philadelphia casting for it.
Yeah, right.
Like it just seems like there's always something that gets brought up that deals with one of those three core actors.
Yeah.
Um,
Always.
no Philadelphia intended.
I mean, I would be all right with that. He like
Yeah.
I mean,
the
at this point, man, I mean, when it comes to DC, without fucking jumping down that whole fucking can of worms, at this point, man, Warner Brothers is just spinning a wheel or just putting on a blindfold and throwing darts at the wall.
Well, the casting that they've done for Superman Legacy that we know of so far has been pretty good. So I
I
think that
mean,
I
I
think
don't I don't mean it in good or bad terms. I just mean it as in like
yeah,
I I could give a shit about the who and how now. Like just give me results.
right. What if that's he's holding out like they announced who Superman was, they announced who Lois was, and then all those other characters that they announced the actors for. What if he's holding out the Lex stuff for the trailer or for the movie itself?
I I, I would really appreciate a hero film where yeah, where some things aren't revealed.
Yeah,
like don't show us the big, the big cameo or the big, oh man, they're gonna do this in this movie. It's like save that for the experience.
yeah. So we got two Deadpool articles back to back here, so I'm going to run through both of these so we can hit it hard. So, new Deadpool 3 rumors tease a real multiverse of madness. So, will the rumors continue? So, Deadpool 3 had to pause its production due to the current strikes ongoing at Hollywood, but that doesn't stop new rumors about the upcoming MCU movie from surfacing online. Both Reynolds and director Sean Levy who have worked together in previous projects like Free Guy know pretty well this movie needs to be something unforgettable, but it also has to keep the tone that made the first two Deadpool films a huge hit. And to do that, it seems like they're delivering a crazy story. New video from the Dis Insider on YouTube has unveiled new list of cameos reported to be featured in the film, and it's wild. So at this time, this is all unconfirmed. Let me repeat that, all unconfirmed before this blows up on Twitter. And sorry, X, again. But a lot of these names we have heard from multiple sources. Brian Cox as William Stryker, Halle Berry as Storm, Owen Wilson as Mobius, Femke Jensen, I don't know how to pronounce her first name, as Jean Grey, Louis Tan as Shatterstar, Channing Tatum as Gambit, Ben Affleck as Daredevil, Taylor Swift as Dazzler, Taron Egerton as Different Wolverine, Elizabeth Olsen as Wanda Maximoff, Tara Strong as Miss Minutes, Tom Hiddleston as Loki, Daphne Keene as Laura Hallett, aka X-23, Rebecca Romjan as Raven, Julian McCone as Doctor Doom, Patrick Stewart as Professor X, and Ian McKellen as Magneto. Again, these are all unconfirmed, but it would be insane if everybody was just in this movie.
I mean, can we acknowledge that, as fucking weird as it sounds, Taylor Swift as Dazzler is actually a pretty fucking good pick?
It's kind of a genius pick, to be honest. Like,
I mean,
it,
first off, no one is going to know who the fuck Dazzler is
no,
anyway.
no, dude. But it's
I
gonna be
mean, I
great,
mean, I
though.
mean, there will, but like even the people who know more about Dazzler than just surface level shit, like even those people, they're in like their 40s at this point. Like
Yeah,
that's when Dazzler was getting printed, you know?
yeah, right. So, but dude, if they pull Taylor Swift as Dazzler, I might legitimately shit a brick in the theater.
Because I'm trying
That's
to
what
remember, isn't the whole thing? Because it's what makes it genius is that she's able
she's
to
a pop
create.
star.
Well, yeah, she's able to create like constructs with her voice.
She's able to take like vibrations and turn them
Yeah.
into energy beams.
So I
So
mean,
she's a singer. Yeah,
she's gonna sing "Shake It Off" and dodge bullets with it.
yeah. So it's kind of a genius thing. So, but on the second part of the news, so Deadpool 3 has reportedly been removed from Disney's calendar of upcoming releases. So even when Deadpool 3 was one of the few upcoming releases from Marvel Studios that actually managed to be pushed up instead of pushed back, setting its debut date for May of 2024, the latest adventure from the Merc with a Mouth could now be delayed due to the current situation in Hollywood. Right after the merge between 20th Century Fox and Disney was already completed, Marvel Studios didn't hesitate on announcing that Ryan Reynolds' Wade Wilson would be one of the many characters that would join the MCU in the near future, along with the Fantastic Four. The actor wanted to make sure his debut within the MCU would be unforgettable, so he convinced his longtime friend Hugh Jackman to play Wolverine one more time in Deadpool 3. Just a few weeks after the film, directed by Sean Levy, started shooting, the actor strike began, so production had to be shut down until the conflict is solved. For now, it seems unlikely. For now, that seems unlikely. So many studios are considering delaying some of their upcoming releases because the movies or TV shows may not be done by the time they need them to be. And Deadpool 3 could be part of that list. According to a new calendar for Disney's upcoming theatrical releases published by comicbook.com, the third film from the Merc with a Mouth saga is missing from the list. The movie is also rumored to include, the cameo thing. So the upcoming theatrical releases that they do have from Disney and 20th Century Fox is Haunting in Venice in September, The Creator in September, The Marvels in November, Next Goal Wins in November, Wish in November, The Bike Riders in December, Magazine Dreams, Poor Things, All of Us Strangers, Elio, Snow White in March 22nd, 2024, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes in May the 24th, 2024, and Inside Out 2, June the 14th. So, I mean, if that's true and they've removed it, which, I mean, they pulled it up. Like, I think that they were like a week or two out from finishing the movie whenever things got shut down, if I remember correctly. So it's almost like one of those things where it's like, dude, can we make an exception for Deadpool?
They're using it as like a fucking bargaining chip, like
yeah,
we'll just shut down Deadpool.
Yeah, yeah. It's like fuck you. Yeah, yeah. It's like, bro, fucking Deadpool, man.
If you think I don't have Ryan Reynolds on fucking speed dial, buddy, you are wrong.
Yeah. I also heard there was an emergency meeting planned for the people at Disney because that Snow White chick keeps going around saying shit, and it's like there's been a lot of backlash about it.
Yeah.
And they might,
Oh, dude, she's making Brie Larson's press run for
dude.
Captain Marvel look like fucking, like, child's play.
We'll see.
Well, sometimes when you got a platform, you got to use it.
But do you?
People think you do. I love how we live in a world where like everybody
voice.
feels like that they need to put their opinion out there, and it's like, bro, just I don't care. Like legit, man. I don't care who you are or what you're doing. I don't care.
Well, just the main thing was when they asked her, what's the difference in the animated series and this one? She's like, well, it's not 1937, so. But there's not going to be a prince. It's about being a strong woman and, no sleeping beauty man. Situation.
So Macho Man Randy Savage is playing Snow White.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Get over here and kiss me, brother,
Strong man.
Ooh, the cream of the crop.
Yeah. Cream always rises to the top.
Gene Okerlund,
Well, I mean, it's almost like at first they were like, all right, let's be woke and not tell them. That didn't work. All right, well, let's be more blatantly woke. That's not working. Well, let's just tell them it's woke.
Yeah, let's lose more.
That's money. Really not working. And what's sad is the word woke went from being a term that
used to be a good
was
thing.
legit. That was legit. And now it's just now it's replaced the word stupid.
I mean, that's one way to look at it.
Because come on, if you think woke has any connection to the legitimate issues that are going on in society today, if you think it's still attached to that, people haven't been paying attention, man.
Well, dude, it's like we're on the verge of World War III, but they're worried about putting little people in Snow White. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the little people are angry. They're pissed. They're like, this is our chance. I saw several videos.
Yeah. Peter Dinklage.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. People were upset.
Now it's just going to be a bunch of dudes.
Literally.
Y'all know that meme where the girl's sitting on the couch?
The popper.
Like that. Yeah.
Oh, God. I'm ready for trailers, though. I don't know about you guys, but I'm ready.
So I wasn't able to preview any of these trailers. I did them on my phone. The power went out earlier. A tree fell on the power lines and they had to come out. It didn't break them, but they had to.
At home base?
Over there.
Oh.
Where I was at.
At Secret Hideout.
Yeah.
Oh, I got you.
I don't want to say the address or nothing.
At least they got it taken care of, though, right?
Oh, I busted the laptop out and had a speaker. I was like, we can still watch TV. I'll have to sit here in silence.
You were like, I've prepared for this moment for 15 and a half years.
Where's my bag?
I'm surprised that there's not a fucking super generator hooked up.
We're talking about it.
I mean, I'm trying to get Marina to let me hook the car battery up if something like that happens, but she ain't about it,
Yeah, gas company's coming out next week.
Hell yeah. All right.
But anyway, you guys ready?
Maestro.
Yep.
Bradley Cooper. All right.
Oh, I thought it was a foreign. Never mind.
Yeah. It might be. He went on Hollywood.
Yeah,
All right.
right.
3, 2, 1, play. Was that him doing the voice? Meow, see?
Mm-hmm.
Are they
So it is a
grounding?
foreign. I think so.
Maestro.
Someone's about to get their heart straight fucking broke.
Dude, why is he so old now?
I wonder if it's something he did with her and then she died.
Two little ducks in a
Two,
pond.
like us, a pair.
Wait, did
No.
it say directed by Bradley Cooper? Hold on.
Are there partridges with this pear tree?
Yeah, directed by Bradley Cooper, written by Bradley Cooper and Josh Singer.
I
Ooh.
mean, he looks like he just stepped right off the set of Inside the Actor Studio, man.
Produced by Martin Scorsese, Bradley Cooper, Steven Spielberg, Fred Berner, Amy Durning, Christy Mosh Makasko, Krieger. Like that, he wrote it, directed it, and okay,
Starred in it.
that makes me a little bit more interested in it for sure. It looks like um, Whiplash, but with less abuse.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
so you know.
What's
Oh,
funny
we
is
got.
it's funny that you mentioned Inside the Actor Studio. There's no clip of him asking a question at Inside the Actor Studio. Bradley
Who,
Cooper.
Bradley Cooper?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, he's talking to Robert De Niro, I believe. I think that's the
Sean Penn.
episode. Oh, what was one of them old fuckers.
You remember he asked, he's like, asked him a question about acting. It's funny. Remember that show? It was like, what's your favorite sound? Laughter.
Sound of flatulence.
I started fucking around with sounds. Okay. Crying babies. It's like,
fucking
whoa.
around with smacking ass cheeks. Playing them
Yeah,
like bongos.
we got some Tiffany Haddish going on.
Man, I ain't ready.
All right, 3, 2, 1, play. Plan B.
So we can get rid of it. I mean,
I think we saw a teaser to this.
Oh yeah.
Put the paddles down.
Such a weird.
Right?
I mean, I'm into it, but it's just such a weird idea.
So I don't know if you guys saw the first one, but I did.
No, I haven't watched the first one,
It's
but I heard
funny.
good things about it.
Yeah, it's a silly
I,
ghost.
I think my brother watched it and he said it was good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, you know.
All
But I'm
right.
ready.
3, 2, 1, play.
Oh God.
Like everything goes wrong. I actually liked that it was this guy, not Kevin Hart. Peter File. Dude, in the first one, they go hunting with her dad. It's the weekend of the wedding. And he's like freaking out. And he's like, here, eat this. And it's mushrooms. He eats them and he's like, it's all right, I'm going down the rabbit hole with you. So they're both just tripping trying to hunt. No. Boofing. Look who it is.
Holy shit.
Hmm. 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 That wave.
Why didn't they release a Red Band trailer? They dropped the ball on that. They should have
Yeah.
released
No,
the Red
man.
Band.
No, man. Keep those moments for like to just come out of nowhere. It'll be even funnier.
I don't know what the fuck's going on here.
El Conde? Is it a foreign?
Oh, yeah. But
Oh, Spanish. Okay.
Well, it's Texan.
he's a
I
very
could.
foreign, okay?
I cut the subtitles on. You know
I think it has them.
the
Yeah.
subtitles. Okay.
There's tittles.
There's. It's got tittles. Good to know.
What type of show? All right. 3, 2, 1, play.
Oh.
What the fuck?
Right?
What the fuck?
It's like a Spanish version of Wes Anderson and Coen Brothers if they made a movie for A24.
What the fuck is happening?
That's why I said
I mean,
I don't know.
I mean, it's Spanish Dracula.
I mean, I want to watch it. Don't get
Spatula?
me wrong, but what the fuck was that?
I mean, it's spatula. I mean, Dracula.
Spatula. I will flip your eggs.
I
Come
will
with
cook
me, Colin
1,000
Robinson.
burgers.
I'll pop it and check it out, maybe.
It might be good for Foreign Film February.
I mean, it's in that I'm a cut above aspect ratio.
Here we have let me put you in my pocket.
Michael
Some
Pena.
people try to grab Volcano. What do you say?
Some people say I can walk on water. What the fuck? 1,000,000 miles away.
All right. 3, 2, 1, play. What is this? 99? 91?
What it looks like.
Damn.
I'd have got up and walked out, dude.
Shit.
Thought this was going to be a comedy.
Yeah, right.
Hammer be back. The chick in the movie. This old battle angel.
Alita?
Yeah.
She kind of gives me like,
I think it'll be good.
yeah. She kind of has vibes like Marissa Tomei. You know what I mean? I don't know why.
I get that. It's the hair and
It's
the
the eyes.
Yep. It is.
Anyway, I don't want to
With
get
a
on
little
that
bit of
too long.
Salinas.
Yeah. I gotta go. Uproar.
This has got old fucking Darby in it.
Really?
Yeah. New Zealand dude?
Yeah.
All right. 3, 2, 1, play. I think this kid is from what's that movie? It's the kid from Deadpool 2.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Hunt for the Wilder People.
I'm going to push you because I'm stupid.
That dude's hilarious. Row. Is it?
Don't look bad. Looks like a sad movie.
Yeah.
But it don't look bad though.
This
The
has fucking Mel
Continental.
Gibson in it.
Does it?
Yeah. I saw a screenshot where it was like, it had this. It's one of those trailer things where it tells you one person's in the trailer, and it was Mel
Oh
Gibson.
yeah.
I'm like, oh, cool.
Yeah, I had
Who
no
the fuck is
idea.
he? He's showing up like I'm too old for this shit.
You
know? Imagine they show
so.
up.
It says here the 3-part event will explore the origin behind the iconic Hotel for Assassins centerpiece of the John Wick universe. So it's going to be in the hellscape of 1970s New York. So 1970s 3-part. So 3 hours. I mean, John Wick 4 was fucking 4 hours long. They should have just put it out as a movie.
I'll know it.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm ready to fucking check this thing out.
All right, 3, 2, 1, play. I think this is going to set up the spinoffs too, like the,
Yeah.
you know. No one, what was it?
Winston?
He's giving his, like, nobody fucked with me till I put on the mask. That is him. Damn. He took the skeleton key.
So we're just gonna get Ian McShane's movie.
What it seems like.
Who's this? I get that. I like it. 70s assassin. I'll tell you what, this movie's not going to have bulletproof suits.
Yeah, right.
Wonder how many people are going to get hit by cars.
Damn. What?
So the big question I think this movie is gonna or show, I mean hell, it's basically a movie, but how does the table fit into this?
Yeah, exactly. Because if they're going up against the Continental, I mean, they would have been executed, right?
Yeah. I mean,
Unless
or
the
is it or is it a case of they take out the Continental, the table shows up and goes, y'all are the only motherfuckers that ever do this. We have the ability to wipe all of you out. You guys can either fill the positions or, you know,
yeah,
fill the positions and make sure this never happens again. And then it ends on a note where McShane's like, as long as you don't make me go excommunicado, we'll be okay.
Mhm. Well, maybe that's why they started a lot of the rules and stuff.
Well,
Like
I mean,
then,
yeah, because I mean, they're obviously fighting on continental grounds. So, yeah, that rule clearly is not in effect yet.
yeah, sacred ground. So I'm interested in checking it out. It looks good, and I like the dude that they cast for young Winston.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he was in like the Purge TV series and a couple other TV series, so he might break out.
I
He
mean,
kind of has a McCulkin look to him, kind
well,
of.
I know it's there firmly in the title that it's from the world of John Wick. But that being said, there's still going to be those random people that watch it having not watched the John Wick movies.
Yeah,
What few of them there are. But I feel like obviously one is going to need to watch those movies, or this is just going to be a big case of what the fuck. Once the first over the top thing goes down, like people are going to tune it out.
right. Looks good though. Good. You're so not invited to my bar mitzvah. Oh, we
So
got.
this is a Happy Madison production. It's got Adam Sandler in it, but he didn't write it or direct it.
Mm,
So
well,
we'll see.
take it with a grain.
I mean, I didn't get the preview. All right,
Let's do
3, 2, 1, play.
it. Mm.
Oh. Oh. Hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
That's why we fought the Nazis. Are these really his kids?
Maybe.
Because
If they're not, they're
they could play them.
yeah, for sure.
This
I don't
is
think
why
that
we
movie's
fought the
made for me.
Nazis. Nah, I don't know nothing about none of that.
I'm not a
They're over there like
teenage
bussing.
girl.
I'm like, huh? What
Yeah,
is?
well, dude. Somebody
Are the cops
commented on
here?
one of. I want to know real quick from you, from both of y'all, if this is a diss or a compliment. Like it's getting to that point
Let me
now,
hear it. I
right?
spent some time around them.
Somebody commented on one of my shorts on YouTube and said I look like a Discord moderator.
That's not a
I don't
good
know.
thing to say, dude.
I don't know. I was like, is that a good thing or a bad?
The
Like, I don't
beard,
know.
the
Yeah, I don't
I
know.
mean, you kind of do. I mean, you do moderate a Discord, so
I mean, but
technically,
I mean, that's
but that ain't
profiling.
like your life,
No,
you know.
but
Nah,
I
that's
was
not a good
just
thing, dude.
he commented on it twice
Said the same
and was
thing.
like, yeah, and I was like, this is what I
Like,
responded.
dude, he
I
he
s-
commented, it didn't post, and he did it again. That's how serious it was. He's like,
yeah, yeah. So I commented on it and I was like, I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, but thanks for the comment because it pushes the video to more viewers. I don't know. I was like, yeah. So I needed a little bit of clarification there. It's getting to that point now where I'm
yeah,
just like, I don't know if that's a good thing
we're
or
out of touch.
I don't think it's as much as we're out of touch as we quit paying attention. You know what I mean?
Well, I know, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Like I didn't know that bussing was a thing until not too long ago, you
Mm-hmm.
know? And I was like, and I'm like, bussing, like you're catching a bus?
Where you going?
Yeah,
Are you busting a whole
exactly.
crew there, or
Yeah,
no
like what's
busting?
happening?
They're like busting, but busting. It's like, well, just say busting. I mean,
Yeah. So, I think I'm going to start doing that. Like, whenever I'm live, like, catch me up on the lingo.
mm-hmm.
I need to know if this is bad or not. Anyway, like, and I don't even feel bad about not knowing if it's good or bad. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, I pay income tax.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't care. Anyway, I'm a small business owner. But yeah, the woman in the wall.
All right, 3,
Oh,
2, 1, play.
oh, Ireland?
Thousands, thousands of children.
Oh, they're at the motherland, dude.
She shot him a
little
bird
bit.
too. Sergeant.
Father Percy. I mean, it's about time for the next Sybil.
Hmm. It's good to see they're making movies in the motherland, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I want to go there so bad.
Check this out.
Anaconda 6 reboot? They're just calling it. Well,
Why not?
dude, Anaconda, when did the first one come out? Like 90, 95, 96?
Maybe 98, 99, something. I don't know.
I mean, is it
It
time
was
to
before
reboot? 30
2000.
years? I mean, it's a big snake. Like, what is there to.
97.
It was a sci-fi movie
I'm
before
just amazed
sci-fi.
that there's 6 of them. I mean, I, I knew there were 2.
Yeah, right.
Seen them both.
My anaconda don't want none unless you got buns, hon.
Let's see if they got it.
If they got buns, let's do
Well,
it.
I mean, 3, 2, 1, play. It says
The
Columbia Pictures,
skeleton,
Sony Pictures.
the skeleton of John Voight steps out in that sweaty ass red shirt and starts talking about snakes again.
Mm-hmm. They got the big logo and the Paramount or Columbia logo. Ooh.
It says a Sony company. I guess they bought it out.
God.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch them get eat the fuck up.
Yeah.
Bet.
That was a weird transition. Who the fuck edited this trailer?
Wait, the snake is setting traps, perimeters.
I don't think this is a real trailer.
What? It's like a ghost story. Nagini.
Okay, so this ain't real. The
That was
reboot that's
still
being worked on
that was
is gonna have
still a
Jennifer
fun
Lopez
minute
in
and
it.
a half though.
Gonna have Jennifer Lopez.
Yeah,
in
she was in the original.
it. Okay.
They're gonna fucking
They're gonna bring her back. Is John
bring
Voight
her
still alive?
back, dude. Who?
Is John Voight still alive?
Yeah, he's been blacklisted, but he's still alive.
Oh yeah, that's right. I bought John Voight's car. Anyway. 3 body problem. From the creators of Game of Thrones. Oh. Okay.
Well, they didn't create it; they're making it. But got this from Trav. There's already China beat them to a series already, but would you say it was based off some books?
Yeah, it's based on a series of sci-fi books. The 3 body problem is a concept that gets brought up when talking about the Fermi paradox. And this this in particular, what what this series explores is what I was able to gather on it is it covers the dark forest concept. Like, do you let people know where you are and hope they don't fucking kill you, or do you just go out into it guns blazing?
Mm-hmm.
The idea that, like, if you're in a forest and if you can lock out, if you can see them, they may not see you, but they will eventually.
Yeah.
And yeah, it looks like it looks like it might be pretty good. The
They say
books
the
seem
books are
really,
incredible.
yeah, the book, I haven't read them, but I know right now in a lot of the sci-fi community forums and stuff, anytime it gets brought up or I've pulled it up, people are just gushing over it, like in the same way they do over the Expanse series.
Okay. So
Just
is this going to be a series?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
Y'all ready?
Bet. Bussin'. What? Yeah. I'm having a stroke. I don't know. Let's do it.
All right, 3, 2, 1, play. They brought him back.
Sam. Okay.
They got him too.
Oh.
We gonna do shoot it?
Fuck. Looks good.
And see, the funny thing about it is, I didn't even know this was going to be, and like I stumbled across the books, which led me to realizing that it's getting an adaptation to Netflix.
Mm.
So I feel like had I not known the backstory a little bit, or at least a little bit of context about it, I feel like I would have completely disregarded it.
Right. Yeah.
But apparently, like the story has some pretty intense moments and some pretty like crazy. There's apparently a moment in the book called the Battle of the Darkness or some shit like that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and it's supposed to be this big thing that goes down and all this stuff. I'm when I get back on the book reading wagon, uh, this is probably going to be a series I try to go, or at least my book buying little periods that I get in. I'll probably try to grab these because I need to start trying to get all of the Expanse as well. That's two series I'm trying to get, because I mean with this particular story with Three Body, I believe it's just 3 novels as opposed to like the Expanse is like Wheel of Time level,
Yeah. Right.
like very multiple volumes.
Hell yeah, dude.
So there's
I'll
a Chinese series, that's complete. You can go watch it. 30 episodes.
Do you
wow.
happen
One
to know
season.
where it's available?
No. Well, Google
I
search
felt
might reveal that though.
Gotcha.
We'll do a little digging.
30, 45-minute episodes in one season. That's probably
Wow.
better. That's kind of cool. It makes me want to check that out just
Yeah.
to see.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder how it's going to contrast to the
Well, I know
Netflix
they're not going to
version.
have 30 episodes.
Oh yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah,
It's going to be
like
compressed.
and yeah,
They
and
did it all in one season. Done.
yeah, that's crazy.
They don't fuck around. They're like, you want to binge watch the whole show?
Yes.
All right.
Yogi. Is this Yogi Bear?
Mm-mm.
Oh.
I can't do it.
Yogi?
I was going to work violence in with Yogi, but
Violence.
it's violence. Y'all ready?
Oh yeah.
3, 2, 1, play.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that dude hard. Who makes these trailers? Back to the movie.
I don't know if this was made in the early 2000s or the 90s.
This trailer dropped 3 days ago.
But this is the re-release.
Is it? Oh.
Yeah, 4K.
Dude, his hair, it looks like the 80s.
Yeah.
Oh, they're releasing it in 4K. $2007.
Wow.
It's actually on Netflix.
Dude, this is what I wish the American like bargain bin movie. I wish this is what the movies were.
Yeah.
I crushed up all my marshmallows for you, mother. A feel that never ends.
Yogi, 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 yogi.
This is that movie that's playing at 3 o'clock on a Saturday when no one's
on
watching TV.
Movies for guys who like movies. Yogi, 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 yo, yo. I don't know if anybody has any picks for next week, but I might have one.
Yeah.
I started watching that Bardo, False Chronicles of a Handful of Truths. Remember the trailer we watched?
Yeah.
I Am the Eggman. It was playing that. So I start watching this movie, and this woman's on the table giving birth, and she gives birth. And then the doctors are like holding the baby like they're listening to see if it's breathing, and then they start putting it back in the woman. And she's like, what are they doing? And they're like, he said that the world's kind of fucked up and he wants to go back. And I cut it off and was like, I gotta wait on this.
Yeah, down to watch. Down to watch.
But the woman was like, what? And they were like, yeah, just hold still. We're putting him back. I was like,
I mean,
would, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
I believe it might be a foreign. I think it is.
I mean, in a weird way, that's Monty Python as hell.
Yeah.
The trailer don't make sense.
Yeah, no, I was just skimming it. So it's it's written by the guy who wrote Birdman.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I want to check this out. Yeah.
We put it in check it out 6/16/23. I think I stuck it in there. I thought it was in there. It was that night where I was asking you. I was like, "You remember that fucking trailer we watched?"
Yeah,
because I've been trying to look for it and I couldn't find it. You were like, "It's the guy that did Birdman." I was like, Remember?
I remember.
But yeah.
Let's do it, Bardo.
Everybody's good with that, then fucking check some of them out.
Hit it.